Here we go again, another Tuesday talk. Today it's step 7 of the home buying process. We're going to be talking about appraisals. Keep watching. Hey everyone, Megan here with EXP. We are talking about appraisals today on Tuesday Talk, and I just want to tell you a little bit about what the appraisal does and why it's important and when you should get it and when you should not get it. So I'm going to start off with when you should not get it. Never. You should always get an appraisal. You definitely want to make sure that the house is worth what you're paying for it. Now, if you're not going to be selling the house for a really long time and you're paying cash, you might be okay with foregoing the appraisal, but it's always recommended. If you're paying with financing, then the lender is probably going to require the appraisal. They want to make sure that they're not lending you more money than what the house is worth. This is going to be an automatic thing, but you will pay for the appraisal. Typically, you'll pay for it at closing. It's right around $350 to $450 in that range, depending on the appraisal company. And the lenders don't really have a choice on who they can use. It's really kind of a pull it out of the hat kind of thing. Now, if you're paying cash, then you have the option of not doing an appraisal, but I have always recommended getting an appraisal even if you're paying cash. Not required, but it's always recommended. In the third-party financing addendum, it does say that if the house doesn't appraise, then you can terminate the contract. Well, with a cash purchase, you don't have that. So whenever you get an appraisal, you can ask your agent to include an addendum that says that you can terminate or renegotiate the contract based on the appraisal. So that really kind of saves you, and then whenever you terminate, you can get your earnest money back. Now, if you didn't have this addendum whenever paying cash, you might not be able to terminate, and you could terminate anyway, but you may not be able to get your earnest money back. And the sellers sometimes aren't willing to negotiate on the price. I just had a contract where they didn't want to accept the addendum. That's not very common. Most sellers will renegotiate, but they may renegotiate other things as well. So I've had a buyer ask for closing costs, and then the appraisal came in a little bit low, and maybe like $2,000. And the seller said, okay, we'll lower our purchase price, but I'm going to take that $2,000 out of your closing cost assistance, which is fair. I have negotiated for the buyers to keep their closing cost assistance, but really it's negotiation. The appraisal is going to come in typically after the option period. We don't want you to pay more money in the option period if you may just terminate the contract. I typically try to wait until the day after option. That way we know that we're going to continue with the contract, and it'll be a safer time for you to pay for the appraisal. You'll pay it at closing, you'll pay it up front. After the appraisal has been performed, it'll take typically 7 to 10 days before you get the appraisal back. I've had it shorter, but that's average. You can pay to expedite the process if you're in a shorter contract term. It's probably roughly about $100 to $150, which isn't a whole lot. But so if you really want to expedite the appraisal process, then we can definitely do that as well. So that's about appraisals. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My number is 512-940-2883. Looking forward to hearing from y'all, and I'll see you next week on Tuesday Talk.